Good morning, everyone. It's Javier. Hope all is well. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that you can go ahead and hear me. So if you can hear me, can you just let me go? Let me know, please. If you can hear me, okay?
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
hear
you,
you. We hear
Javier.
you fine.
Can you see
Yes.
a PowerPoint? A book?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you once again for being here. We have a lot of information to pass on, so we're going to make this pretty quick because it is a lot of information. So at any time, please unmute yourself if you have any questions, so that way we can go ahead and address your concerns or your questions at the time. We're going to give you a book today. It's called The 19 Probing Questions to Get Interest in an Annuity or IUL. This is very important because this is part of what starts the process of achievement, which is, of course, marketing. But before that, I just want to start with some first things first. We have a lot to go through, so let's just get going at this time. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I know we have a lot of moms that also play the role of a father, so I just want from the bottom of my heart to say thank you, and a happy Father's Day to everybody. It's very challenging at any time, but especially with all this going on, and yet a lot of the fathers out there continue to step up and do what needs to be done. And like I said, a lot of the moms, like my mom, had to play the role of both mother and father as well. And so happy Father's Day to everybody. I hope you have a very special weekend, and let's keep doing good in this world in more ways than one. Also, as a reminder, we don't have an automated way of adding people to the text alert list. I'm preaching to the choir. If you get the text alerts and reminders, well, you're on the list, obviously. But if you have anybody in your team that means anything to you, meaning that you consider him or her crucial to your success, make sure that they also simply text FFS to 58632. That way they'll get added to the list. Very, very simple, very easy to do. And that way they will get added to the list and be able to receive the notifications, reminders, and so on. Most people that don't make the meeting forget. So therefore, the text alerts remind you. We do tests from time to time where we don't send out the text reminders, and we get literally about an eighth of the people that we receive participating versus us actually sending them a reminder. Also, the FFS convention is right around the corner. If you intend to go, do yourself a favor, register right now before it sells out. The capacity is extremely limited for different reasons. And so, therefore, we're still under the pressures of the COVID limitations that we had a while back. So, just, in a nutshell, register if you're going to go. If you're not going to go, that's fine. That's your decision. I will be there. And so, also along those lines, if you're going to be there, my recommendation is to reserve a room ASAP. In case you didn't know, the M Resort is now the official or the team hotel for the now Las Vegas Raiders. And so, therefore, a lot of people have been pinned up in their homes. And so they really want to go out there and party. And so the cost of hotel rooms in Vegas is unbelievably expensive. I just went to the website yesterday, which is what I'm showing you right now. And if you notice right there, the prices go from anywhere from 525 a night, 545, all the way up to 1534, which is simply incredible. And the good news is that if you are with FFS, and the block that they have set aside for our members, they're still honoring it at 135. I mean, you cannot literally, you can almost resell the damn thing, but you can't beat it. You can't beat the pricing. So if you are going, one of the last opportunities for you to go ahead and reserve your room and register, because it will sell out due to the limited capacity that they still have in place from the leftovers, of course, of the actual pandemic. Go back to the home office. Make sure you use the actual link, or you can call the M Resort and just mention the First Financial Security Convention, and they'll give you the 135. This is the link itself that you see on the screen at this time. Also, I want to thank everybody that participated in our fundraiser. I'm not going to get into the entire story, but Holly Hume, who's one of our teammates under Daniela's leadership, is in a really tough jam. Unfortunately, her sister passed away due to cancer, and they couldn't allow her to access her funds to pay for the funeral, the memorial, which was actually today. And she has other additional challenges facing, financially speaking, because she has to bring her mom back to America. She's in Italy. That's where her sister lived. And so, to make a long story longer, we stepped up to the plate by coming together as a team, as a family. And on Friday, when we started this thing, or Thursday, whenever we started, it was like $25 in her GoFundMe. As of this morning, she was at $3,400, and she'll go ahead and hold the memorial for her sister earlier today. Obviously, Italy is ahead of us, and so they already had it. I heard it was a really good service, and so I just want to thank everybody for doing that as well. She did provide an update via the GoFundMe site. So if you want to participate, just go to GoFundMe and look her up, or check your email. I sent an email to everybody. Thanks to everyone that donated. We were able to have the funeral today. 40 of her dear friends. Blah blah blah. So thank you for everybody that did their part to come together and do that as well. I'm also sending you this out on behalf of my daughter Sylvia, which is the one on the right, getting married. She's going to be getting married next Saturday. And so what's happening there is we had a little bit of, or a big hiccup, because her wedding, her fiance Ricky proposed to her 2 years ago, and they were supposed to have a June wedding this past June. So we had a really big hall, a bunch of spots available to invite everybody, like all of you. But what ended up happening is a year later, which was June, when what do you call it? When this whole thing was supposed to go down, unfortunately, COVID was around, and they had to cancel the wedding, or not cancel, but postpone it. And then we ran into issues with the credit, or how they were going to, give us credit for what was already paid. And so they ended up agreeing to give us another date a year later, which is this June. I'm actually going to be at her wedding next Saturday night. But because it was still under the COVID restrictions, we could only have 40 people, I think it was, which is, it's nothing, just my side of the family, everybody's upset that, they're not coming because they couldn't expand it in time. But anyways, I bring this up because they do have, in case you don't know what a honeyfund.com account is, Honeyfund is basically, here, let me pull it up real quick. It's, I guess, kind of like a GoFundMe type of thing, but it's for people that are getting basically married. And so they're doing one because they want to get to Maui for their actual honeymoon. And so they went ahead and created one, gave me the link, and asked if I would share it with our FFS family, which I'm doing right now. I just sent you an actual link to the Honey Fund. If you want to, provide them with a gift of any amount to make their honeymoon a reality. Just for the record, I want to be very, very clear. I'm not using this as a quote fundraising thing like I do for other people, because we don't have the money. Yours truly got to pay for the wedding. So I already paid for the wedding. I paid for the dress. I paid for the cake. I paid for, you can only imagine, as the founder of the bride, what it entails. And it's an honor for me to do that. So that's not an issue. This is them. And I'm just simply passing on a link that they, feel bad that a lot of my kids are known for being raised within FFS. A lot of you have met them at the Dream Destination trips. They go with us all the time, or they used to go with us all the time. And so I've had a lot of people ask me, how can you participate? Instead of gifts, this wedding has taken so long for it to become a reality that they actually got ahead of the curve and actually had a baby already. This Jack, she's a first responder. He's a mechanic, and they're all three part of the big wave that hit me with the COVID. We all came down with it together. The baby, which is Jack that you see, he was the youngest patient that they had at the hospital that we ended up at 2 months when he got COVID, and thankfully everybody beat it except for myself, as you know. But like I said, if you want to go and support them, I'm not in any way. I'll tell you when it's something because we need money type of thing. This is them needing it because they want to go to Maui for their honeymoon. But like I said, I am paying for the entire wedding, so I don't think I want you to think this money goes to me. It does not. I'm just promoting their link because, like I said, I got to pay for the wedding. I'm paying for everything, so it's not a money issue for them. It's just a honeymoon thing. And I'm just sharing it with you. So if you do want to be a participant indirectly in the actual wedding, this is your opportunity. If not, that's okay. Like I said, I'm just sharing it with them. So I don't want you to think that I'm trying to shake you down for my expenses. I got the wedding covered. I got everything covered on this end. This is them trying to get to Maui as part of their honeymoon. And like I said, you can visit, I just emailed you the link, or SylviaRicky.com. Sylvia, as you see it spelled out, and then Ricky, RICKY.com, SylviaRicky.com. And if you want to go ahead and bless them with a gift, by all means, go ahead and do so at that time. So anyways, I'm going to continue at this point. Any questions about anything, stop me. The wedding is next Saturday. And like I said, the only challenge we have continued to have is the COVID restrictions that were placed on that had a lot to do with the food, the vendors. And so we tried to expand it over and over, but they won't let us do it because, as you know, California didn't reopen literally till this past week, Tuesday, I think. And it was too short of a notice for the vendors. And so I apologize for not having you physically there. But like I said, this is a way of you to actually participate. SylviaRicky.com if you wanted to help them. Oh, well, there it is. If you wanted to go ahead and help them out, there is the link. And if you are going to do so, I thank you. It means a lot to them and to me as well. Also, we're going to talk today about the 19 probing questions to get interest in an annuity or in IUL. It's a really good read. It's super simple. I think it's like 5-6 pages or something like that. It's from a gentleman named Alex Branning. I like him a lot. He does a lot of marketing with life insurance, with health insurance, with all kinds of insurance. And so it's a good read. One of the things that I will challenge you to do is to never let a week go by where you don't pick up a new skill, or at least you've read a new book as it relates to whatever business you are trying to succeed in. If you are doing just life insurance, bless your heart. We got a lot of people who do life insurance and they're also doing final expense and doing real estate. I mean, whatever it is that you want to succeed at, make sure you better yourself every single week. And that's what I want to do. I want to give this book for you to read it. I'm going to fly through it because I've got some other just as important information to share with you. So forgive me for going so quick. It's a really good book because it really just, as it says here, can be used as a survey question, as a giveaway funnel, or a phone conversation. And you don't have to sit there and bore somebody to death with all the questions, but I guarantee you that a few of these questions will speak to you, where they will become or should become part of your conversation piece as you go out there prospecting for new clients. Here's where you can see some of the questions. Question number 1, would you like to know how to make yourself the beneficiary of your own life insurance? That's pretty interesting. I think the most powerful thing you can do in the world of sales is ask a question, because he or she who asks the questions is always in control. I learned that a long time ago. When I find myself in a jam, I forgot my script, I forgot what to do. I just remember one thing: ask questions. If you are asking questions, you are in control. That's what you have to do. Is this quick question? How can you become the beneficiary of your own life insurance? Anybody?
For the living benefits?
That's probably the biggest one and the best answer right there. Absolutely, the living benefits. And I'm talking about you becoming your own beneficiary directly because you have the policy, of course, or having somebody that you are like. I have a couple of college funds for my kids, both in securities, but also IULs for my grandkids. And that's a great safety net that they can become the beneficiaries of their policy that I own. And so you got to learn how to read into the question and elaborate. Anybody, other thoughts from anybody? How can you become the beneficiary of your own life insurance? Anybody? Come on, guys. This is a training webinar. Let's not do this. I have a lot of information, but I will skip it all.
Javier, it's your own savings plan.
That's a great answer, because of the simple fact that I don't care if you have $1,000, $2,000, or $5,000 of cash value or more. One of the biggest challenges people have nowadays in their lives, they're being crushed to death with debt. Now, we all got the memo. It makes more sense to pay with cash than it does with a damn credit card. But how do you pay with cash if you don't have it? Or maybe you do have some assets somewhere, like a 401k, but you just can't qualify for a hardship withdrawal, and therefore you're forced to go back to the damn credit card. It's unbelievable. If you have a credit card account, I don't have credit card debt. I carry about only $3,000, $5,000 just because I have a ton of cards and I just keep my credit going. When I leverage other things that I leverage in life, it helps me. It helps me. My score is like 803 or something like that. It's not because I owe anything to anybody. I can pay it off at any moment. But for a while, I was literally 100% debt free, which feels really good, and I'm still debt free. But in this society, there are times where having a good credit score still helps you out if you understand the power of leverage. Not credit card debt, but leverage. And so anyways, I open up because I get my e-statements now. And now by law, they have to tell you how long it's going to take to pay off your card. And it's amazing. A card with like $3,000-$4,000. It says if you pay the minimum, it will take you 14.5 years to pay it off. I'm like, unbelievable, unbelievable. And so those are chains literally that we have to rip off ourselves and our loved ones and our family and our community by making them understand that this is a way for you to do that. Any other thoughts on number one? If not, we're going to fly right through this, guys. So I'm not in the mood to talk to myself. All right. Number two, is there someone at the IRS that you're madly in love with? Is that why you're leaving them all your money? It's very, very true. You leave it now, or you leave it. On top of that, you leave it when you die. Is there someone at the local nursing home that you're madly in love with? Is that why you're leaving most of your money to them? When the government I'm just going to fight through this because you guys aren't participating. When the government needs money in the future, do you think they'll look to get it from people with no money or people like you who are saving cash in a bank account? And so anyways, as you can see, I'm not going to waste my time. You can read it yourself. It's got great questions and all the way up to 19. That's why they're called 19 probing questions, which are pretty cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. Let me just do this real quick and do this while I have you on the webinar. As always, don't call me, don't text me, don't email me. It happens every single day. Somebody sends me an email saying that they couldn't get on the webinar or something happened. If I can send them the link and I just ignore it, I'll be the very first to tell you I don't even waste my time, because I'm telling you right now that I am literally giving it to you right now. I'll try to put it in the comments, but the links expire after a while, as you know. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, man, I'd like to get my hands on that, don't call me, because I'm not going to go looking for it just to get it to you because you were not on the webinar. So that's what I just sent you via chat. So if you have to chat, click on the link and be able to do just that as well. Also, it's very important for you to know that you have to learn to ask the right questions and don't sit there and read somebody all 19 questions. Pick one or two. I would say never more than three, but one or two will be more than enough to start the conversation as it relates to what matters to the person you're speaking to, because that's your number one responsibility in the world of sales. People say that we're in the business of building, and no, we're not. We're in the business of sales, because if you don't sell enough, you're only going to be in this business for so long. You cannot be here if you're broke perpetually, if you would. We all struggle from time to time, and it's okay to struggle, but as long as you're doing your part to not have to struggle in the future, because if you don't make money for X amount of time, you're done. And you might be willing to continue the fight, but your spouse might not. And they're going to tell you either start making some real money or get yourself a real job. One of the two things. And so that's why it's important to do what I'm sharing with right now. What do you think is one of the most important elements in the world of selling? I don't care what you sell, but especially if you're talking about financial services, that you must possess, if you would, in order to have lasting success. I'll be the first to tell you this. One of the things that I'm so proud of my team about is that we have people here that are very well embedded. They're very well embedded in the business. They're very well embedded on our team. They're embedded in our training. They're embedded. And why do you think that it's so important for you to have somebody in your team that's embedded? Why? Why? God forbid you have or you want to have a team. You better know this. Why?
Well, number one, I think they have the belief structure, to work with you.
Okay.
Try to achieve the same goals that you're going to try to achieve.
They're seeing something in being a part of your team that they're probably not going to get somewhere else or as good as somewhere else, correct? Okay, that's a very good answer. Thank you. What else why? Especially in our type of business. Just so you know, we're in the type of business that, unfortunately, like I said earlier, if people don't hit the level of success, and remember, the level of success doesn't have to be $1 million a month. I'm not talking about that. For some, it might be. But for most people, if they're consistently making $1,000, $2,000 a month, especially if they're doing this part-time, man, they're not going anywhere. I'll tell you, we've got a lot of leaders here. Why do you want your people embedded in your team, in you? Why?
You want teamwork, and you want beach money, Javier.
There you go.
You don't want to be there all the time. You have a training team. They work for you, with you.
That's very, very true. I can tell you right now that I haven't had a sell directly. I just do my splits, but I haven't had a sell probably definitely in this year directly. But the income is there every Tuesday and every Friday. So that's absolutely important in case you want to, but you can't. I have had a few issues going on in my life right now that I just can't. I haven't been able to. I'm getting back on my feet right now, but I just haven't. And thank God that I'm not a personal producer only, where when you stop producing, the income stops. That sucks. I'll be the very first one to tell you that sucks. And so therefore, income is very, what else? Anybody? One of the advice that I give leaders, people that are either have a team or want to build a team, is I always warn them and I always tell them, make sure that you don't confuse building a team with replacing a team. A lot of people are in the replacement business, not in the building business. Building means that I take the people that I recruited this year, and next year, most of them will still be around producing. They end up bringing new ones who in a few years will still be around along with the ones from this year. And most of them are producing. And I still go out and get new ones that's going to be building my team. It sounds pretty simple, but a lot of people just simply don't get that. They're in the replacement business. They get 2-3 people. They don't work out. You spent the year and a half working with them because you thought they were going to be the ones. Nothing ever happens. They fade away, never do anything. So you have to go out there and get a few more. And then you spend another year and a half working with them, only to find out that they're not the ones. And then so every year you're replacing the ones that are dying, and they're dying quicker than you can replace them, which simply means you're dead in the water. And the worst part is that they take those renewals with them that you gave them or that you were with them on during the sales. And therefore, that's not building. If you look at my commission statements, which I can, show it to you, you'll see that on any given payday, because you can line up your commissions by, especially the renewals, by when they were sold. I think the oldest one that I have right now on this new system, because our system got updated many years ago, I still get paid on the stuff from 2006. And so the oldest ones that I personally can attest to, every payday, I'm getting paid for things that came down and closed in 2006. That's the oldest ones that I have on. And so that's building for me. That's building. That's what it means to me when I think of building. So you better learn. You better learn how to do that. And not only that, but the level of leader that they see you as will have a great impact in how long they stay with you. So that means you always have to evolve. You have to get better every single time. And so what's one of now? Let's just say from sales perspective, because if you don't do that, the only other hope you have is to come in, recruit somebody, go through their warm market. Most people have very small or limited markets, and they sell and they go away. And at least you have a few split sells maybe, but that's it. You got to go out and do it all over again. And I like to build. I don't build them. They're winners. They're leaders already. I want to do my part in enhancing their leadership skills, because I don't make them. I just simply enhance their skills. And so for most people, if you want to have lasting success, and I can show you people on our team that that are not a one-hit wonder where they had a one good year and this and that. They're here year after year after year after year after year. Probably one of those top leaders that I'm referring to is Daniela. Pandemic, Daniela just hits it out of the ballpark, hundreds of thousands in income. No pandemic, hits it out of the ballpark, hundreds of thousands in income. I mean, she just does. And many other leaders that I'm not going to get into because I don't want to miss anybody, but that's my biggest blessing within the business side of the house. And so that's what I want you to have. And most people, unfortunately, cannot find a way to get there quick enough. And so they give up. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they give up too soon. They literally give up way too soon because they think it's hard, it's not for them, and so on. And I always ask them, why the hell did you get in the business? I mean, you thought you could do it, so I know you can do it. And so that's why you have to do what you have to do as well. And so, again, I ask you another question as it relates to this. What's one of the top things a good salesperson, because we're in sales, call it what it is, a top salesperson, what do they have when it comes to having lasting success in the business of sales, especially in financial services? What do you think they have to have?
Authenticity.
What is it?
Authenticity.
That's really important. That's what I agree. What else? I'm looking for
product knowledge. Knowledge
is very important because now you're on the right track. The product knowledge will lead to one thing that I'm looking for. What is it? What do you think it is? I'll give you an example. I just heard, I think it was Mr. Hatter. One thing I will tell you about Mr. Hatter is when it comes to products, I believe him. And I see people when he presents, they believe him. And so what does that mean? When enough people believe you, what is that called?
Trust,
confidence, and one more thing. One more. Come on. And you're right, but I'm looking for one word. Trust.
Integrity.
That's a must. Yeah, integrity, but what is it?
Persistence.
Rapport.
Everything. You're all right. You're all right. But there's one thing that I'll show you right now that I'm going to get into. Authority. Want to be, and you have to have the authority, if you would, in whatever it is you are selling. That's super important. If you walk into a room, are you going to spew, let's just say, authority, and then everything else you said, confidence, everything is important that you just mentioned. I'm not going to leave anything out. Integrity. I mean, but ultimately, if you want to have lasting success in the financial services industry, you have to have that authority. I'll give you an example. When people think of, let's just say, perfect example would be Robert Kiyosaki. Everybody quotes the hell out of that guy. You know, he's good, but I guarantee you that there's not a whole lot more that he knows than, let's just say, Mr. Hatter or Daniela, it's just that the way he's been positioned and promoted. And bless his heart, I don't hate the guy. I admire him for what he does there. And so what I'm recommending for all of you to do is, if you were to ask me what's the big or one of the top challenges with my team, I would have to say that we have way too many undercover authority figures in the financial industry on my team, meaning that there's no reason why, and I'm not going to name anybody because I don't want it to come across the wrong way. I think they're a great authority in the IUL world, and for financial services, whatever, but not enough people know that. You have to, especially nowadays in the digital age. You guys know I'm Mr. Technology. You know that I've been doing webinars going back literally. We used to broadcast the webinars for our Saturday meetings via webinar, but the reason we stopped it is because nobody got on the damn things. Now it's the other way around. I don't think I could pay you guys to come into my office or training center in Hacienda Heights on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. until you come in person. So most of you probably like me at 8:30, I was showering, getting ready. I mean, that's pretty cool. Whereas when they have to go somewhere, it's a whole different world. So how do you do that? I'm going to give you a link that I encourage you to go ahead and visit, and you'll get a free presentation that I think is a great class. It talks about the ways, or 9 ways, to establish authority. And I'm going to fly through it because you need to see it on your own. Rule number 1 is you have to walk the walk. Do you walk the walk? How do you walk the walk here in our industry? Real quick, guys, I need you to get on it because I got another webinar to get on. Please, come on. How?
Have the policy yourself.
That's a big one, right? Have the policy yourself. What else? Anybody? Anybody?
Having the product knowledge.
Okay, lead by example. What else?
Having the product knowledge.
Having the product knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. What else? What else? One of the things that's very important, just so you know, is you have to be in the position to point at your examples of success. You have to be able to do that. Now, the best way to do that, start with yourself. Have the product yourself if you qualify for it. Have it. That's the easiest way. But number 2, as you go from there and you're walking the talk, then it gets a lot more fun. I'll give you an example. This is a snapshot of my personal NLG. I've got multiple IULs. I've got multiple term policies, have multiple, a bunch of stuff. But what I do, the fastest way that I learned how to sell these things, when I'm talking to a parent, or better yet, a grandparent, I always break out my NLG app and I show them, look, here's my account. And here's just one of the IULs that I have. I'm paying $400 a month. And the reason that I'm paying $400 is because this is, as you can see, a permanent life insurance of $250,000. Something happens to me now, like it almost did. My wife is taken care of for, almost $2 million total. But in this example, $250,000. Now, would you rather leave your loved ones $250,000 or $250? Because that's how much Social Security is going to give them to bury you. And so here, I know that I'm taken care of while my kids were small. My kids are now grown. So guess what? They've all come out of the trust. They're no longer part of the life insurance because I wanted to focus on my wife to see her through for the rest of her life. And so everything got redone. On top of that, as you can see on the right, I do have a surrender value of $19,000. And so if you do the math, how much I put into this plan and how much I have in surrender value, I can take out my money and say, honestly, that I made money. So that was a great way to save money. But on top of that, I had a safety net of $250,000 the entire time. And I'm not talking about death, because yes, that is something that means a lot to me to know that my wife is taken care of. But what if something happens to me where I can access or need to access the living benefits? I become the beneficiary of my own life insurance while I'm alive. which is simply incredible. At the top, you see the college fund that I have set up for one of my grandkids right there. I pay $1,200 a year on their birthday, one check, $1,200, no monthly payments. But when you see the value of how much I have in there now, one that turns 4 in July, she's had it since she was born. Incredible. So I can go from selling about adults, I can switch to selling about kids. I can switch about, and the ultimate brochure is your own policy. So that's that. I'm not going to take too much longer. So number 2 is you need to learn to interview influencers. Now, influencers, the best influencers, by the way, I'm not talking about Kim Kardashian or anything like that. I'm talking about people they can relate to. A cop. If I'm talking to a cop, I have stuff from a cop. If I'm talking to a teacher, about teachers. So learn to do that. Now, also, who are the influencers? Influencers are the heads of schools, maybe a superintendent, maybe a union rep, maybe the union president. One of the best friends that I've had in the business, he just retired from the police department. He was the president of the union. Incredible what this guy did for me, but thankfully he has a good name and people still know him and they know of how he speaks of me. And so I always leverage my interviews with him. And so that can mean different things to different people. Another one is to be interviewed. And here's what I'm getting at. Nowadays, it's so easy to do this. Go back 20 years. How the hell were you going to get interviewed by anybody? Now we have this thing called the internet, the cloud. We have laptops, we have cameras, we have podcasts. It's the easiest thing to do if it means enough to you. And this lady right here, by the way, I like her a lot. It's Holly, is her name, Kitchens. Everything she's promoting herself. She's promoting herself. And I'll show you where she's going. She's going to now selling this stuff, which is pretty cool because she's probably making more money than she was trying to sell houses. And so, because she's a realtor as well. And so here are some articles about her. Guys, you can create an article about your teammate and they can create one about you. Come on. I'll show you how to do that next week with Canva. Do cool stuff on social media. This is her business side as far as the actual, your real estate side, which we can do all day long. Have an influencer site. You can throw up a WordPress website in an hour and have it customized to whatever you want. I have so many different faces that I show. For some, they know me as just life insurance. For some, they know me as a cop. For some, they know me. It doesn't matter. If you understand how marketing works, it all flows together. Establish it. So this is her website. So she finally got really smart and said, well, I'm going to sell this stuff. Like I said, it makes more money than selling damn real estate. And so as you can see here, that's the website. So I want you to go there, get it for free. Publish content around your expertise. How can you publish content around your expertise? Anybody, real quick, come on, spit it out. I don't have a lot of time.
Podcast.
Okay, what else?
Download an article and publish it.
Articles, absolutely. What else?
Blogging.
Blogging is a very popular one because you can literally have the same website, which is your blog, and have an article on term insurance, have an article on 401ks, an article on deferred comp, and then you just copy the article or convert it accordingly as well. And so again, you can do that by starting a blog, which is going to cost you a whopping $15 a month, unlimited. And it's like here, she does a webinar on how to create social media, how to create social story stickers, which are basically GIFs. You can do that. What the hell does that have to do with real estate or authority? Everything, because she has it and you don't, and I don't. And so that's why it's so important. So have all your social media profiles consistent, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. So this is where you want to go. You're going to put your name, first name, last name, unless you want her to call you, and then email. You will get for free the book that I'm sharing, or the class. It's just a video that you watch. You have to do that and become an authority. That's what I'm not interested in. I shouldn't say I'm not. I'm not as interested in having life insurance agents on my team as I do as having builders and people that want to be here 5, 10. This year, we're celebrating 15 years with FFS. And I've been here for those 15 years, plus 2 more before it was even called FFS. PPMG Elite is where we started. From there, it got changed to Global Group Financial, or GGF. And then from there, it got sold to Phil, and he renamed it, First Financial Security. And the entire damn time I've been here. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to do so that the day comes that you don't want to or can't continue as active with your own personal pen, you can still benefit from what you were able to do. So you go to establishauthorityonline.com is where you're going to go. Establishauthorityonline.com to view the class. It's free. You do have to register, and she's gonna be sending you crap. But just it's good stuff. Don't buy it unless you want to. I buy 2 to 3 courses every week because I know I have to be better this week than I was last week, and I have to be better this coming week than I am this week. And so invest in yourself. People tell me a lot of times, yeah, but it costs $20-$30. Well, hell, you spend how much on coffee? How much on crap that's guaranteed to do nothing but get you either A, in debt, or B, deplenish your savings, your money. So invest in yourself. It's a great thing to do. Now, what are some of the examples within our team? I'll give you a few of why some people do so well. This right here is my Infinite Retirement, which is the YouTube channel. This is the actual YouTube channel for Daniela and her team. So what I'm going to do, to give you an example, this is an experiment that I'm creating here. Let me go ahead. Here, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ask you to do something. It's very important. So right now, she shows 23 subscribers, 23. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you, and I'm going to place on the description of this video, in case you're watching the recording, I just sent you. Oh, shoot, I just sent it to Bob Roberto only, but hold on, let me just do it again. I'm going to send to everyone a link in the chat. Do me a favor, go ahead and click on it, even if it takes you away from the webinar for a second, and click on the subscribe button, which is the grayed out button you see on the right, towards the upper right, and click on the notifications bell. That way, I mean, here's a place that's making a lot of money as a team and as a leader. Just Daniela, I mean, consistently the top money, top 10 in the company, for God's sakes. They got good stuff. And I mean, really good stuff. So if you're not subscribing to something like this, I don't know what to tell you. Before you go and sign up for that chick Holly, trust me, this person here, this team is in the industry, in the company that you are in. It would be double dumb not to go ahead and do it, like literally this second. So if you look at your chat, I went ahead and sent it to you. I just want to make sure it got there before I move on. Okay, let's see there. Okay, mine's is opening up. My monitor that I'm looking at here, forgive me. And all right, cool. There, it's right there. So we're up to 35, from 23 to 35 subscribers. Where are you? If you haven't subscribed, we need you. That's another thing you got to learn to do. Go with the team. This is a team thing. There are times when we need each other. And when we need each other, you need to step up to the plate and do it. Otherwise, you're simply not coachable. And if you're not coachable, I really have no interest in coaching you, because you're not coachable. So, just do what I'm asking you. 36 subscribers. Thank you. Somebody else just came on board and did it. We got to get that higher, by the way. My pet peeve was wasting my time, as you guys know, and I'm not rude. Yeah, I will bend over backwards for anybody, as you know, but 37, come on. And so, like I said, I hate wasting my time. And if I feel I'm not really making a difference or if I don't have enough influence to get you to take action, I'd rather just simply sip my coffee and 38. Come on, let's just make it 40 and I'll leave you alone. What the hell? 38. And like I said, this is going to help you as much as it's going to help Daniela and her team as well. And so anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for right now. Let's see, 38. Don't be the one that hasn't subscribed yet. 38, 30, come on. All right, well, let's go on and continue. This is the link. I send it to you via the actual thing. So what's another way to do it? Well, podcast. Jefflin Dangerfield. Jefflin has a podcast. This is actually on the Apple website, which is syndicated on all. So I don't care if you have, I listen to her podcast on, what the hell is that service called? Spotify. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Spotify. And so that's what I listen to her on. So she's everywhere. I mean, other people are listening to it. Why not you? That's an example of somebody on our team. So going back to Daniela and her great team with the YouTube channel, that's a great way to create authority. It took her like a year to get that going because they wanted a certain look. Once it's done, once you have your graphics, it takes 10 minutes to do that. This is a podcast. I mean, we have Jefflin pumping out those podcasts. I know we have a few more people or leaders. I think Kathy Durgar was doing it, I believe. Again.
Yes, I do have one. Bank of an Extraordinary Life.
Perfect. I mean, and so what I mean is that these things, now, why do you think people stop doing the podcast, the YouTube channels? Why do you think they stop doing the things that I'm sharing with you right now? Why? Let me ask you a question. Why do most people stop trying to lose weight? Why do most people stop their diets?
No discipline.
Well, no discipline, but what is it about it that causes them that? And the answer is they're not seeing the results they want fast enough.
That's true.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to stop eating hamburgers for a day. And the next day I weigh myself and damn, I weigh the same. I mean, it's no fun. Let me go back to the burger. I mean, I learned a long time ago from my mentor, a very, very wise man in this industry, who once said, you must give yourself enough time for your efforts to compound. And I'll never forget that. I've been going at it here with FFS for over 17 years now, because I know it takes time. We do this with teachers. I mean, you know how simple it can be nowadays to write a book? This is a great book right here, Teacher's Guide to Tax-Free Retirement by Abiel Hewitt, who is on our team. Why don't you have your book? And I don't even call them books. I call them guides. People, if you tell them book, you're going to spook them. They're going to think they're going to take forever. Simple, 8 pages, 9 pages. And this is if you haven't read this, I don't know what to tell you. This is something that everybody should read, should have. And by the way, you don't have to write it to leverage it. You can use this to leverage it with your clients. As a matter of fact, this gentleman right here is part of our company. His name is Brian Abiel Hewitt. He's the author of this, and give it away. I'm actually waiting. I've distributed, but I stopped distributing my own book because of the fact that I'm waiting to see if I can get, I know the chief of police from LA, and it really means a lot to me to have an endorsement from LAPD, just because that's where I come from, even though I already got an endorsement from other chiefs, if you would. And one of the things that has helped me tremendously is I go around and share with people my story when I do the police presentations. You guys, most of you have seen me do the police roll call presentations as well. I do the same thing that we do here. You can show it as an actual physical book. Some people are intimidated by it. So therefore, hey, we have it in digital format as well. You don't have to print it out. Just email it to them as well. This is what I'm waiting for the okay from I'm going to call him my friend, but I know him. I used to work for him when he was a lieutenant. He's a chief of police now for the LAPD, Michael Moore. And so I'm just waiting for him, because where it says a must read for every police officer, it's just a little dash. And it says Michael, Chief Moore, LAPD. You know, that just means a lot to me. That's what I want. How to bulletproof your financial future by leveraging the power of an IUL. A must read for every police officer in the US. And then for something like that, what's really cool about it, I just simply do nothing more, nothing less than tell them, I'm going to give you a free copy of it today in digital format. And then there are multiple ways to get it to them. I don't send anybody anything directly. Everything has to be autoresponder. Simply text this, scan this QR code, email, I'm not going to give it to you, but email this at blah, blah, blah.com, and the autoresponder sends them the book. I don't want to deal with it. The autoresponder, they get added to the list, and that's how simple it is. As a matter of fact, the next one and so we're not talking of a book. The damn thing's 8 pages. Simple, but it's the authority. I don't think anybody read the damn book, to be honest with you. But man, if you're the author, you must know what the hell you're doing. I have another one coming out that's going to be for churches. The same thing. Doesn't mean because somebody has the idea you can't do it. I would love to see Alan write a guide on church members and so on. You know, kind of like I'm talking about 6 pages, 8 pages, pointers. Because ultimately, the most powerful part of the book, believe it or not, is the cover, or in this example, the mock-up. Because this is not an actual book; it's the mock-up that you can use as well. Lastly, I just want to challenge you. Anybody know what this is? Anybody?
That's a tabernacle, isn't it? In Utah?
No.
Or no, somewhere else.
Yes, no, that's not it. Anybody?
Barcelona.
Where?
Barcelona.
Yes. What is it called? What is it?
The famous church.
The famous church. There you go. Well, technically, it's a cathedral, right? But yeah, it is obviously also a church. In English, it's the Sacred Family, La Familia Sagrada. And for those of you that haven't been there, you got to check it out. I've seen it multiple times. And one of the things that I had to look into, if you look, there's still scaffolding all over the place. There's usually a big old crane. And so I went there. I've been there multiple times over a span of 20 years. And I was like, damn, they're still working on it. Every time I went back, there was scaffolding or a crane or something. Can anybody tell me when the construction started? No, first of all, why is it so famous? I'll give you the answer. It's the architect. Who designed this? Who's the architect? Anybody know? It's part of Barcelona, just so you know. Ever heard of Gaudi? No? Okay. Well, Gaudi's very famous. He has this kind of melting candle effect of everything he does, which is if you ever go see this thing in person, that's what it looks like. Like it's melting. It's an incredible thing. But what my challenge to you is to not be like this cathedral, a work in progress. Whatever you do, whatever you want to go after it, but implement it. At some point, you have to start tallying your results. And if it's not working, either stop or retool what you're doing and generate the results. There's too many people who are building their cathedral perpetually. It's just always under construction. It's like, when the hell are you going to open it? When it comes to your business, don't do that. Always build, always work on something, always. But make sure that you're generating results from something right now. Otherwise, you're not really in business. And that's what I want to challenge you. And anybody know when the construction started? Any guesses? I mean, anyways, all right, well, I'm not going to make it any longer. It started 1882. 1882, literally 1882. So the thing has been in the construction for literally generations. And so I just challenge you to please make sure that you're not under perpetual construction yourself. If you find something of value here, share it with your team. Like our YouTube channel if you're watching the recording of this. Like the video and subscribe. That's the best way to stay in the loop. Lastly, what I want to do is, first of all, any questions before we wrap it up about anything from anybody? Because it is personal, meaning my daughter and soon-to-be son-in-law as of next Saturday. I just want to leave you with the website in case you didn't get it for whatever reason in regards to their honeymoon. It's sylviaricky.com. Again, I want to make sure I'm very clear about this. I'm paying for the wedding. I'm paying for the dress. I'm paying for the cake. I'm paying for everything. The only thing that was COVID that threw the curveball at us, if you would, that I wasn't able to invite everybody that we were hoping and looking forward to inviting. And so therefore, I don't want anybody to get, feel insulted or anything like that. It was literally restricted to like 40 people. That's when they signed the contract. It didn't open. The wedding, California didn't open to this last Tuesday. And so we went and tried to up it to 150. Unfortunately, the vendors are the ones that don't have the people. There's a lot of people who out there who just don't want to work. They don't have the personnel. They don't have this. They don't have that. And it is what it is. SylviaRicky.com. If you want to bless them with a gift, it's up to you. And if you do, I just thank you. And thank you for everybody for all that you do. Any questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up? This is your chance. No other questions. I say thank you. Have a great weekend. Remember, you got to be in the position to make this coming week the most productive week of your business. And you do that in every sense of the word. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. As always, if you have any questions, hit me up. Until then, bye-bye.